organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, find out what the UI College Republicans had to say when they met with the governor Tuesday.
Plus how fruit flies could help prevent seizures.
And in sports, we've got your full basketball breakdown. We'll have analysis of the Iowa men's and women, along with the Big Ten tournament race.
That's coming your way next.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
From Studio 151, your television news, sports, and weather source for the Daily Iowan, this is Daily Iowan TV.
Happy Fat Tuesday, and thank you for tuning into Daily Iowan TV. I'm Tasha Woods.
And I'm Josh Bowander. Members of the UI College Republicans visited with state leaders today to discuss a wide range of issues, including a controversial voter ID bill. College Republicans from across Iowa made the trek to Des Moines Tuesday to meet with Governor Branstad, the Secretary of State, and the state auditor. State leaders also discussed education reform and the budget. The students also organized a free cupcake giveaway to show support for a voter ID bill. The event was meant to show that asking people to show ID when voting is not an inconvenience and would not hinder voting access.
Iowa lawmakers reached an agreement Tuesday to increase spending for state prisons. According to the Associated Press, the extra $7.5 million in funding will stop the state from laying off guards and other prison staffers. State Republicans and Democrats say this compromise is a sign for progress in other areas of the budget, although they do say many differences in the House and Senate need to be resolved.
President Obama awarded loans to 8 states on Tuesday, including Iowa, to help start healthcare cooperatives. The loans, which are part of the 2010 Affordable Care Act, total more than $638 million. According to the Associated Press, the loans will help these states set up nonprofit health insurers to offer coverage to individuals and small businesses. Of the 8 states receiving funds, Iowa, Nebraska, and Wisconsin are part of a group of 28 states suing the federal government over the Health Care Reform Act. The major issue is the provision requiring everyone to have health insurance by 2014. The lawsuit's been ongoing since the law was first enacted 2 years ago. The Supreme Court will start hearing arguments for the case this March, although many of the provisions don't take place until 2014.
Still to come on Daily Iowan TV, an earthquake in the Midwest. It happened on Tuesday. We'll have the details ahead.
Plus in sports, Fran McCaffrey talks about his game plan for Iowa's Thursday night matchup with the number 16 ranked Wisconsin Badgers.
That's all coming up in a bit, but first let's go to Christina Targos for your first look at weather. Thanks, Tasha. Wednesday is looking to be a pretty decent day. The morning will start out at 36 degrees. By noon, it will warm up to 46 degrees with cloudy skies. At 9 p.m., it will have only dropped down to 45 degrees. Now I'll be back in a bit with your 6-day forecast.
The University of Iowa Biology Lab may be close to curing a disease that causes seizures, and the critters helping may surprise you. Daily Iowan TV's Nick Rector tells you who's helping in the lab.
One biology lab at the UI is on its way to finding the cure for epilepsy, also commonly known as the seizure disease. Almost exactly 2 years ago, John Manick, a UI biology genetics researcher, was performing tests on fruit flies, and he discovered the link between the flies, a DNA gene, and also the disease.
It was one of those eureka moments, and I called up Alex, my pediatric neurologist buddy, and I said, dude, I think we've got a story here.
And he did. Manick's discovery could potentially help many whose lives are crippled by the devastating disease. Right now, the medicine for epilepsy is not very good. 2/3 of those taking anti-epileptic medications have bad side effects. But through trial and error, DNA testing on flies, mice, and humans, Manick and his team hope to create a cure for epilepsy. The overall goal is to develop safer drugs for the disease.
These sorts of things take a while, as you can imagine. There's all sorts of FDA approval and whatnot, and that has to be the case. You don't want to just be throwing around drugs, randomly. But we're off to, I think, a really thrilling start.
The lab is continuing its research, hoping that their hard work will bring results. But for now, who knew a couple of flies could be so important? Nick Rector, Daily Iowan TV.
Yeah, Josh, it's pretty cool that something so small can make such a big difference.
Yeah, who'd have thought? Pretty cool stuff right there.
The Iowa City School District is taking new steps, or should I say old steps, to keep students and staff safe. The district decided to reform the District Safety Committee after a comprehensive audit of the district conducted last year. The committee will be charged with handling everything from school emergency plans to staff security training. The district will post all of its responses to the audit, including financial and procedural changes on the district website.
A possible anthrax scare took place on the Drake University campus in Des Moines today, but the emergency turned out to be a prank. According to the Associated Press, a white powder spilled out of a letter in a student's dorm room mail slot. The fire department's hazmat team was called in to find out the powder was cornstarch. A student put it in the letter he was mailing to a friend as a joke. Students were let back in the dorm around 10:30 this morning.
And on Tuesday, the United States Supreme Court agreed to hear another controversial case about affirmative action in college admissions. The court will decide whether the University of Texas violates the rights of its white applicants by factoring race into the admissions process. Opponents of the policy call it discriminatory, while supporters say it's necessary for ensuring campus diversity. Oral arguments in the case are expected to begin this fall.
And now it's time to check back in with Christina Targos for your 6-day forecast. Christina?
Thanks, Josh. This week is going to have a variety of weather. Wednesday and Thursday will be fairly warm with highs of 51 and 49 degrees. However, Thursday has a 30% chance of showers. Friday has a high of 40 degrees with a 30% chance of snow flurries. The weekend will be a little cooler with highs of 39 and 44 degrees. And Monday will only be 37 degrees with a 40% chance of showers. That's your 6-day forecast. Back to you at the desk. Thanks, Christina. And now Daily Iowan TV's Jake Abrams is here for your look at Hawkeye sports.
Well, the basketball season for the men is quickly winding down, and the Hawkeyes are currently tied with the Northwestern Wildcats for 7th place in the Big Ten standings. And with March Madness less than 1 month away, Daily Iowan TV Sports' Mike Howell updates us on the heating up conference title race, as well as what Big Ten teams are still in contention for postseason play.
Although the Hawkeyes have been far from in contention for Big Ten supremacy this year, the regular season Big Ten championship looks to be turning into a 3-horse race. Michigan State is 1 game ahead of both Michigan and Ohio State atop the standings, with Wisconsin 2 games behind the Spartans and Indiana now 3.5 after the loss on Saturday here in Iowa City. But the race for the regular season title and the number 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament looks like it will all come down to a regular season finale between Michigan State and Ohio State on March 4th. For these top 5 teams in the Big Ten look to be locks to get into the NCAA tournament already. But the next 2 teams are on the bubble. Looking at the 2 teams' resume, both have average records, and Northwestern even has a losing conference record. What sets these 2 teams apart, though, is their relatively high RPIs and strength of schedule. Most experts have these 2 teams in the tournament, with Purdue dismissing Kelsey Barlow and suspending DJ Bird, 2 of their top playmakers. Boilermakers are on thin ice. And even the hometown Hawkeyes could see potential postseason play. Last season, major conference teams such as Nebraska, Northwestern, and Cal made the NIT with 12, 13, and 14 losses. But with Iowa already having 13, there is little room for error in the final 2 weeks of the season. Mike Howell, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Now, the Hawkeyes have 4 games left, so there are plenty of opportunities to gain more wins and build a resume for an NIT bid. They just knocked off number 18 Indiana, and now their next game is on Thursday, where the guys take on number 16 Wisconsin. And while the Iowa men won't get a taste of March Madness this season, the Iowa women, they're close to a 5th straight appearance in the NCAA tournament. Daily Iowan TV's Ian Martin talks with Iowa women's basketball expert and Daily Iowan reporter Ben Wolfson on where he believes the Hawkeyes will end up in just a few weeks.
I'm Ian Martin in the Daily Iowan newsroom with women's basketball print reporter Ben Wolfson. Ben, just a couple weeks ago, it seemed as though Iowa might not even make the tournament, but after 6 straight wins, they're squarely in, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Like you said, 6 straight wins. They have 2 games, one on Thursday versus Northwestern, a team they beat by 31 points last time they faced them this season. And their last home game of the season is against Michigan, a team that they beat in Ann Arbor last week.
So current projections now have Iowa making the tournament at around a 9 seed with potentially 6 games left. Do you see that going higher, lower?
You know what? I may be biased, but I can see them going up a little bit. They've been on a roll lately. I think they're a team that can really make some noise in the Big Ten tournament.
And that role really surprising after the ACL injury to Jamie Printy. But talking to you before this, it seems as though this injury of their leading scorer might have actually forced them to play as more of a team.
Yeah, I definitely agree. As good of a player as Jamie Printy is, this season she was kind of struggling a bit. I don't know if it was with her wrist injury from the summer, still lingering, but she wasn't shooting that well, and the offense was kind of stagnant. With her out, it's really allowed 3 players to really come in and step up. Camille Wallin, their point guard, Sam Logic, another guard who's a freshman, and Morgan Johnson, their setter. The ball movement has been excellent, and Wallin and Logic have been really contributing outside, and Johnson's been dominating offensively and defensively.
Okay, thanks, Ben. And as you said, 2 games remaining this season, including a crucial final home regular season game against Michigan this coming Sunday. In the Daily Iowan newsroom with Ben Wolfson, I'm Ian Martin.
Now switching gears back to the men before I leave you tonight, they face a dangerous Big Ten player in Jordan Taylor of the Badgers on Thursday night. Coach Fran McCaffrey met with us earlier today to explain Taylor's impact in this upcoming game.
He has consistently been a really good player at the end of the game. At the end of the game, at the end of the shot clock. And, I mean, you look at their wins, I mean, he's making buckets late, free throws, baskets. He did it to us last year in an overtime loss.
Now also on Sunday night against Indiana, the students packed Carver Hawkeye Arena. It was a great sight, and the Hawkeyes got the win, so the university said, hey, let's just try that one more time, but this time let's let the students in for free. That got Fran McCaffrey and company pretty excited.
You know, when you look down to that one side and see that whole section filled, you know, it's something that I think we all get excited about, the coaches, the players, and I think it's good for the rest of the crowd as well, although our crowd on Sunday was spectacular, I thought.
I love when the students get in for free. It changes the game totally, how much energy they bring. Not only does it help us, it can hurt the opposition too if in the right way, if they're loud enough. So I'm excited for it. It should be a good atmosphere.
And not only will students bring excitement to the arena on Thursday night against the Badgers, along with their free ticket, they will also be given a free Matt Gatens bobblehead. Earlier today, I was able to sneak a peek at the Matt Gatens bobblehead. It's pretty cool. It's pretty realistic, too. So if you want one of Iowa City's own Matt Gatens bobblehead, head to Carver Hawkeye Arena on Thursday night for a free entrance to the game if you're a student. Guys, back to you.
That's actually pretty realistic.
Yes, it is.
And now let's take a look beyond Iowa. An earthquake shook up people early this morning in southeast Missouri. The quake's magnitude was a 4.0, and you can see it did a little bit of damage. The U.S. Geological Survey says the shake was even felt in 13 states, the furthest being North Carolina, although no reports were issued here in Iowa.
It's official. Greece is bailed out again. On Tuesday, the Eurozone finance ministers sealed a €130 billion deal, giving Greece the funding it needs to avoid possible default next month. This second bailout follows an unsuccessful €110 billion rescue in 2010. The government still needs to find a way to trim the GDP debt, nearly 40% by 2020.
Hundreds of voters in Yemen headed to the polls on Tuesday to vote for a new president. This comes more than a year after a revolution started, driving out the country's 3-decade-old president in power. But voters only have one choice, and it's the current vice president, who some critics say is too closely linked to the old regime. He's promising to improve security and create jobs.
And we couldn't leave you without a little taste of Mardi Gras. It all kicked off early this morning at the Zulu Crew Parade. You can see just how many people flooded the French Quarter to kick off the parade and festivities. This year, the city of New Orleans is expecting lots of families in the Big Easy.
Zulu Crew Parade. Pretty cool. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into Wednesday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Find out the results of the City Council's final vote on a controversial plan to install red light cameras in Iowa City.
Plus, see what the UI student government has on its agenda for the upcoming semester.
That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV.
And be sure to check us out the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching, and have a great night.